Fast forward about 20, 25 years when that child is going to be able to buy their own home. How much will the piece of real estate in Toronto you would be giving your next generation, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, significant leg up, the wealth that they could pass on from generation to generation?
Hello, welcome back to TF Team Between Dollars and Dreams. Today, I'm joined with Pierre. My name is David, and we're here to talk about generational wealth.
Mm.
Insurance is something that most people probably don't think about. And when they do think about it, they probably think about it in more of, I hate to say it, but maybe a negative sort of way of like,
I only need this if an accident happens.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not really the way that they should be viewing this.
Mm-hmm.
There is a sort of a different angle on insurance that we're going to discuss today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when we're talking about building wealth, people usually think about investing. They think about real estate, starting a business. But one of the most powerful and overlooked tools for creating generational wealth, rather, is insurance.
Yeah.
So today we're going to discuss how we can use insurance in some generic ways to bring about generational wealth. So
how does insurance actually build wealth?
who is it really for? How can it fit into a long-term financial plan? These are all some questions we're going to dive into today. And to help us unpack this, I'm of course joined with Pierre. So thanks again for joining us. Let's start simple. When people do hear the word insurance, they usually think about protection and not wealth. So what are we sort of missing here?
Yeah, I mean, there's a special type of insurance that we're going to focus on called permanent insurance, like whole life insurance, which has a savings component. So, yes, there's the basic need of insurance is for protection, for, life insurance, disability, critical illness. So, those are at the foundation. So, once we've met that, we could use insurance as a savings vehicle, a tax-free savings vehicle, which is tax efficient, as a good way to transfer wealth from one generation to another. Again, tax-free or tax efficient. So what we're going to focus on today is really about kind of that whole life insurance, that permanent insurance, which has a savings component, which will grow over time tax-free.
Okay. I know we have discussed those other types of insurance, that sort of bedrock we're discussing, the disability. So this is very interesting. So instead of just thinking of coverage with insurance, we should be thinking of legacy as well once we have that basic coverage taken care of and protection while you're still alive. Is that right?
Yeah, you're bang on. I mean, as I look at it now, I mean, we did the webinar, the real estate webinar, and we've seen that, what real estate prices have gone up and has kind of retreated. But fast forward, if you have a child right now, fast forward about 20, 25 years when that child is going to be able to buy their own home. How much will the piece of real estate in Toronto will be, right? So that will be significant. If you could assist your the next generation, kind of giving them, a handout to help out, not only creating, let's say, a death benefit, but leveraging the savings component, all of this you would be giving your next generation, your children, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren, significant leg up and kind of giving them the wealth that they could pass on from generation to generation.
Okay, well, that's really interesting, that leverage piece. So basically, essentially, what you're doing is you're creating a larger estate than what you might have otherwise.
Exactly, exactly. So the way we like to look at it is, let's say, to keep it very simple, so let's say you're making $100 payment towards your life insurance. A component of that 100 will go towards the pure cost of insurance, and another segment, to keep it very simple, will go towards a savings component. And that savings component continues to grow tax-free within the insurance component. And then later on, many years later, 10, 20, 30 years, you could potentially access that savings component tax-free. And if you don't need that savings component, you always have the death benefit. The death benefit is always there. But if you don't need that savings component for yourself, that will continue to grow tax-free for your child. So now, during your lifetime, so let's say you've got, 30 or 40 years remaining in terms of life expectancy, that compounds.
Hmm.
And then you pass away and you transfer kind of that ownership to your child who continues to grow tax free. And that continues to grow tax free for the next generation. So, I mean, we could do the math. You're looking at potentially from one generation to another, potentially about millions of dollars transferring hands. And my favorite word, potentially tax free.
Wow. So this is where it starts to blend into more of a long-term financial strategy,
Hmm.
not just
Hmm.
protection, but protecting your income and
Hmm.
your future too.
Exactly. And you're also protecting your future insurability. So this is a good aspect. When should you get the insurance? You should get it now when you're still healthy and when the premiums will be fairly low. And if you could pay for, let's say, 10, 20 years and then stop paying and have the savings component continue to grow, and the policy kind of pays for itself, you kind of get the kind of the best of both worlds. I mean, I'm oversimplifying it at the moment, but this is a good way to start that conversation with your financial advisor and see how could you help the next generation, right? One of the key components is home ownership. Don't let anybody else tell you otherwise. If you're going to do one thing, right? Not, which stock to buy, secure a place to live. And if you could be the master of your own home, go for it. But if you're thinking about the next generation, house prices, I mean, yes, they've gone from a million in GTA to slightly below a million. But if we fast forward, right, to about 10, 15, 20 years, you're looking at, well, doubling, right? 2 million, 3 million for an average house. Now, how is your child going to be able to purchase a home that's worth $3 million and wages are not going to increase at the same rate as
Mhm.
house prices? So what if you could give them that gift, significant down payment to purchase a home or to fund whatever they want to fund? Because you could access that money, again, potentially tax free. You could do whatever you want with it. So all this is a great way that rich people have used. They've understood the benefits of insurance, not just as a protection tool, but also as a savings mechanism to pass on from generation to generation.
Okay, so let's ground this a bit. You did mention, of course, we need to take care of, let's just call it the basics first. Make
Hmm.
sure you have that home over your head.
Hmm.
So I guess who should really be thinking about this at this time?
You know what? It's kind of, and I think we're going to touch about it in another segment, but the younger you are, the better it is. You've got many more years for it to compound,
Okay.
at a good potential rate. And the cost is should be significantly lower because the
Mhm.
younger you are, the more healthier you are, the longer time frame. So your costs would be more cost effective for you. It should fit in your budget, and it could grow for a longer period of time. So, you know what? Anyone should be thinking about it once you've met all your other needs. You've created that emergency fund, you've kind of maxed out your TFSA, you've got a need for insurance, you've got a family that you want to protect in case something happens to the main breadwinner or any
Mhm.
breadwinner, because nowadays we need two incomes
Mhm.
to maintain a good standard of living. And if you want to get even more creative, and providing like education planning, yeah, RESP, but have you ever thought of using life insurance as a complement to your RESP
Hmm.
to give that gift once your child has, graduated school, the significant lump sum that they could access tax free?
Okay, well, that is definitely something we should jump into more further in. In fact, we will.
Hmm.
But what are some of the common misunderstandings around this insurance piece that you see?
Yeah, the common aspect is that, well, I'm never going to benefit from it because in order for me to benefit from life insurance is that I've got to die to benefit from. Well, yes, unfortunately, we're all going to die, so there is a need to, pay for funeral costs, to pay for potential expenses upon death, tax implication upon death, but there is also the potential for savings for growth to be able to pass on from one generation to another. So insurance is not just for the dead, it could also help the living. It's really for the living to kind of leave that legacy. And if you don't have kids or your kids are well taken care of, you could use insurance as a charitable tool to pass on to your community. So all of these are kind of positive things that you could use, life insurance proceeds for.
Okay. Well, that's really interesting. I know I certainly hadn't really thought of it this way, and I'm sure a
hmm
bunch of our viewers probably haven't viewed insurance in this way.
hmm
So if you are at home right now thinking, well, what do I do next? What would be the next step? What would you advise our viewers?
Well, what I would advise them is to speak to a financial advisor to kind of see how insurance will fit into your overall financial plan. So if you don't have an advisor, please feel free to contact one of us at the TF team, and then we'll look at your budget, we'll look at your needs, and we'll kind of create a plan that will suit your particular need while also ensuring that will reach all of your goal, your retirement planning goal, your educational goal, all of this within the risk management and estate planning section.
Okay, well, that's again really good information. So if you don't have a financial planner, you should certainly reach out and try and
hmm
get something in order and take care of yourself. So we are going to focus on generational wealth again in our next podcast series.
hmm
And I think the biggest takeaway here is that insurance isn't just about protecting against a
hmm
worst case scenario.
hmm
It's also about a strategic tool, rather, to build and
hmm
transfer wealth.
hmm
So if you do have dependents, if you have children that you want to take care of, if you have a favorite charity that you want to donate to,
hmm
this is definitely a tool that can help you in that regard.
hmm
But like anything else in finance, it comes down to how it fits your overall plan. And
hmm
again, if you don't have that overall plan, you should certainly think about getting one.
Yeah, definitely.
It's never too late to start. I know that I'm personally getting myself on track and looking to get my own first home, which we have discussed previously.
That is correct.
So this is again a very interesting topic to cover. Again, viewing insurance in sort of a different lens. So thank you very much for your time today, Pierre. We will cover generational wealth more next week. We
hmm
hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for joining us today.
Bye for now.